It's a big day, an exciting day as a new week starts. We have breakouts all across the board, Bitcoin doing some very interesting things, and even Link. Big old Link, the one that actually led up into the 2020 run, is actually doing something of particular interest here as well. So we're going to be covering a little bit of that today on request by Mr. Rowe. Other than that, I want to book you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's a nice little Monday morning over here, and we can just jump right in the charts. So first things first, I want to follow up on yesterday's daily analysis. We were looking at the daily HPDR bands as suggesting that, hey, just below 31,000 bucks is an area of interest. Expect a bit of a consolidation there, and if Bitcoin can reclaim, and if we do start to see these bands step up, then probably continuation. And what do you know? As Monday opens, the bands have stepped up quite significantly, not just from 30,900, but now to about 32,300 or so, which is pretty much in alignment, or actually a little bit higher than what we did see on the highs of July in this year thus far. So ultimately, that is again yet another good sign as we continue to see this one step up alongside something even more important, which is volatility, which continues to increase to the highest levels that we did see on that spike that was in early September, and more importantly, more comparable to some of the more prolonged runs that we've seen earlier this year, although we haven't really seen anything super prolonged within that regard. But more importantly, again, that one continues up, and even the even directional volatility right here is going to continue up on the moving average. So I would be looking for a reset on that relatively soon again, but this would suggest that things probably climb a little bit higher. As we suggested yesterday, Bitcoin's probably spikes to highs, little bit of a consolidation right there, and then assuming that Bitcoin essentially holds above 30,000 bucks or 30,100, if you want to be super exact, I would be looking at that as a bullish consolidation, very likely to lead towards overall continuation. The reason why I say overall continuation is because this chart over here is still very much relevant if we can go back to it, which is the volatility versus stochastic momentum signature on the 5-day time frame. This one did close last night, and we did get an update, and we saw the biggest leg up in volatility on the 5-day that we've seen in quite some time, actually, and it is actually even approaching that 15 percentile number, which is, kind of the earliest area that I would say that, hey, this really starts to confirm that sort of a setup, which in combination with the 5-day stochastic oscillator has been actually perfect in predicting the direction, in this case, of upside volatility. I don't expect that to always be perfect, obviously. That would be very naive to say, but ultimately, this one's still very much vertical and will be showing upside pressure as long as Bitcoin's above 27,400. So if Bitcoin does go for a little bit of a short-term consolidation around these highs that we did see in July, it's completely fine. Ultimately, as long as volatility continues to expand, it will favor the boo laws, and statistics do show that we're probably looking at somewhere around a 40% move in the case of a of a long setup, which this one would be as of right now. Standard deviation around 10%, and that again would give us a range between about 30 to 50% with an average at 40. And so areas of interest to the upside again going to be like 34,000 bucks on the lower end, 36.5 to 37,000 bucks on the average, and close to 40,000 bucks on the upper end. So in this case, it would suggest again that volatility expansion from here going to be favoring the boo laws. So if you are bearish, what essentially do you want to see? Well, you want to see price go down, but how far down do things start to fall apart for Bitcoin boo laws? Well, again, first warning signal would be below about 30,100 on a daily closing basis, and I would say that's back below about 29,000 bucks. That's where things start to look pretty damn bad for the boo laws and pretty damn good for the bear laws. But for right now, favoring the boo laws, it does look like more or less across the board. We can go over here and check out stochastic momentum just across these different timeframes. Obviously, the weekly just populated as of last night, and the weekly continues with its upside momentum as long as Bitcoin's above 26,300. 5-day timeframe for CME continues with upside momentum, again within the context of very low volatility as long as Bitcoin's above 26.7. 2-day timeframe. What the fuck is going on over there? It's like people banging on the door, except there's not because I don't see anyone. 2-day time frame continues up above 29,500 as well. Daily time frame also going to be continuing up above 28.7. 12-hour time frame is also going to be up above 28.7. Seen that number pop up a couple times here now. 6-hour time frame getting pretty critical, I'd say. 30,300 going to be the current pivot. 4-hour time frame, same thing, 30,450. And hourly's got to be flippy floppy here, but even up as well above 30,700. So does Bitcoin go for a little bit of a blow off here in the short term? Maybe. I mean, we do kind of see everything in concert with each other, which is rather interesting. Actually didn't really expect that, but really wouldn't be asking for too much, even for like a short-term, medium-term consolidation around these prior highs. Again, anything basically above $30,000 does favor the boo laws and does set up for a deeper push into the $30,000 territory. Do keep in mind there is that gap on CME here at around the $35,500, $36,000 region. I believe that also lines up with one of the major fibs. If we, yes, indeed, pull back onto it, something like this would look about right. Yep, the 618 coming in around this region. If I actually go on closures, there we go. So ultimately, this is significant. This is probably the most significant move that we've seen in quite some time now, and I'd say that this one has a legitimate possibility and even probability at this point. Again, assuming volatility continues to expand, that we actually will see this one break out. So maybe exciting times ahead for the fourth quarter of this year, which I forget what year it is. Doesn't matter. Anyways, should we get into Link right now? Actually, I don't know, maybe a few more things on Bitcoin if we really want to go over it. I just wanted to point out that the monthly is, or not even the monthly, but the quarterly. No, not the quarterly. Was it the 4 month or the 2 month? One of these ones, yeah, the 4 month is going to really have a chance to bullishly engulf the prior anywhere above 31.8. That is where things start to get pretty crazy. So even just a trade above these summer highs, I'd really be looking for a much deeper push into the 30,000s if that happens, like much deeper, maybe even close to, as we went over earlier, like 38, 39, maybe even $40,000. Not all in one straight line, obviously. And this is maybe becoming a bit more hyperbole, as again in the short term, it really wouldn't be asking for too much to get a consolidation around these highs before a potential breakout. But for right now, on the higher term time frames, looking pretty damn good there. Did we have any sort of bullish divergence to be aware of? Uno momento, I have food arriving. 1 second. Yes, okay, there it is. Now that I got my food, we can see that there is hidden bullish divergence that was confirmed on the weekly. I think maybe even the bi-weekly had some as well. No, it did not, but just kind of lifting off there. And more importantly, going to draw another silver cross, assuming that price action just remains, especially above like even $29,000. Again, that is in conjunction with the silver cross that we did see on, which time frame was it? Was it the daily? Was it on a different chart? Maybe. Come on. Yeah, it was on the daily right here. So ultimately, yeah. Consolidations around the high, completely fine. I don't necessarily know if things will blast off from here, but overall, looking decent, man. Looking decent, especially as highest daily RSI that we've seen since January, actually. Not bad right there, not bad. Anyways, we'll end this one with a link. Just a very simple chart, really, as Link doing something, well, significant, I would say. Let's go over here. Let's just go to the monthly and putting on our drawing tools. I don't need to make this any more complicated than what it already is. And what do you know? Link breaking out of, or breaking, multi-year highs here, or actually just year and a half now highs coming in from June of 2022. Yeah, there's probably going to be a little bit of a pushback somewhere around like the 11 and a half, 11 and a quarter region. I suspect that is going to be just a pushback, and very likely this one does travel upwards and onwards, probably finding its next major reversal somewhere in the upper teens, maybe maybe somewhere around like 17 to as high as like $19. Do something like this. Can I get out my drawing tools? Where are they? There they are. Blah, 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 blah. And then who knows what happens after that, right? Doesn't need to be exactly like that, obviously, but just, a general idea. So as you can see, we do see many things within this market kind of breaking out right now. Maybe I'll do a video on Ethereum tomorrow because that one's also rather interesting. It is reversing from the area that we laid out over the past few weeks, kind of following the rest of the market, not necessarily that strong, obviously, but as you can see right here, not bad. So I am going to leave things off on that note. I want to wish you the best of the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.